He lives and works in Australia, is that right?
Correct.
And so those businesses he owns are located in Australia as well.
Correct.
I'm not able to get a visa to come to the United States, and it's been rejected every single time by her mother.
We are here on a suit to modify, support, and confirm arrears, and there's not an agreement. So I will begin by calling the mother. Ma'am, will you state your name?
Yes, Tara Bollinger-Oxusler.
How old is Adrian?
He's 18,
And is he still in high school or has he graduated?
graduated.
And how old is Elise?
She's 16.
And is she living with you?
Yes.
And so we're showing that Mr. Jacob has child support arrears of $288.48 as of December 31st, 2023. Do you believe that's correct?
I believe it's more than that. I believe there was arrears for medical and for child support.
Yes, so that's just the child support portion.
Oh, got it.
And then we're showing his medical support arrears as of the same date are $1,977.68. Do you believe that's accurate?
Yes.
What kind of health insurance does your younger child have?
They have Blue Cross Blue Shield Anthem.
And is that through your employer or through another source?
It's through my husband's employer.
And how much does that cost per month?
I sent a record of it over to the court to figure out. They told me they were going to figure out the child's portion of it, that they had a way of doing that.
While I pull that up, do you have any knowledge on if Mr. Jacob is employed?
Yes, I believe so. According to our children, he is employed. He's the managing director of Teamwork WA. He owns a donut company and I believe another company called Beauty and the Brains. And I do have the cost that I sent over to the OAG's office. The total cost for the health insurance for the whole family is $1,101.25. And they told me they had a way of figuring out what portion of that was for the child.
Okay, and how many people total does that cover?
That covers 2 adults and 3 children. So that's Adrian, Elise, and 1 other child.
And you said $1,101?
Yes, and 25 cents.
And that's per month, correct?
Correct.
And does that include dental or is dental a separate cost?
I believe that includes the dental.
So about $220 per person.
Okay.
And so you said you believe Mr. Jacob owns a couple businesses and works for Teamwork WA. Do you have any information on what his income is?
I do not.
Okay. And just to make it clear, he lives and works in Australia, is that right?
Correct.
And so those businesses he owns are located in Australia as well.
Correct.
And do you know if he has any other children?
I do. I believe he has a new daughter.
So 1 other child. And we have reported from Mr. Jacob that he earns $18 per hour and works 25 hours per week. Do you believe that's correct, or do you think he works more than that?
I do not know the answer to that. It would seem as a managing director, you would work more than that. And if you own more than 1 business, it would seem you would work more than that, but I don't have any proof.
Okay, so if we use the income he's reported, I've calculated medical support at 88 and child support at 287. Would you agree or disagree to those amounts?
I would disagree.
And are you wanting them to be higher?
Yes, I do think he should be able to contribute more to our daughter.
And is there a specific amount for child support that you're requesting?
I would like to see him do at least what we consider half of her education cost, which she's in school at the moment and she's doing really well. I would like to see at least $1,000 a month to help cover her education and high school expenses.
And is she in private school?
She is.
And how much is that costing?
It's $1,100 a month. And then she's also on track to try to get a volleyball scholarship for college. And so she plays high level volleyball. And that's costing about anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a month. So I'd really like to see him contributing towards helping her get to college and helping her with both her academic and volleyball scholarship trying.
And with Mr. Jacob living in Australia, how often does he see your daughter?
He has not seen her in 9 years.
Has there been any family violence in the last 2 years between you and Mr. Jacob?
No,
Do you have any safety concerns with your address or your phone number being printed in the court order?
no.
Um, is there anything else you want the court to know about your case?
Just that I would like to see him contribute towards our daughter in a way that helps her, and that he has not been forthcoming of wanting to do that at a high capacity or making our children a priority in his life. And I've bear the full responsibility of that, which I'm willing to do, but I'm asking that the court would take that into consideration and put some responsibility onto him to help care for our children. And while I realize that legally he no longer is responsible for our son is a freshman at Texas A&M University, and I'm still helping him, and he is obviously a struggling college student. So while that is not the legal responsibility anymore, I do believe it is the moral responsibility to help care for our children.
I'll pass the witness. The state calls the father Mr. Jacob. Will you state your name?
Jeremiah Jacob.
And sir, we are showing that you have child support arrears of $288.48 as of December 31st, 2023. Do you believe that's correct?
Yes.
And we are showing that you have medical support arrears of $1,977.68. Do you believe that's correct?
Yes.
Would you be in agreement to pay off your child support arrears at $30 per month?
Or sooner. The reason why that there were arrears is because the only way that I can pay my child support is via a Australian portal that was set up by your office. And so on the portal, there is no arrears showing. So I haven't been able to pay it.
Okay. And would you be in agreement to pay your medical support arrears at $60 per month?
Yes,
And so you are currently living in Australia, is that right?
that's correct.
And are you employed?
Uh,
What kind of work do you do?
I started a nonprofit called Teamwork WA.
Okay. And how do you get paid?
I get paid weekly, and work started last week. I explained this in the previous breakout on January the 8th.
And did you get paid 18 per hour?
That's 18 US dollars. It's actually 30 Australian dollars.
Okay, so 18 US dollars, and you work 25 hours per week?
Last week was 25 hours, but it's a normal work week is 40 hours.
Okay. And so you started the company. Do you set how much your hourly rate is?
No, we have a CFO that does that.
And besides you working at Teamwork WA, do you own any businesses?
My name is on Donut Co, but that's my wife's business. And Blondie and the Brain is hers and is not operational anymore anyway.
Okay, so the donut shop, your name is on it,
Yeah.
and your name is on it as an
Yeah, my
owner.
name is on it. Yeah.
And how much income does that bring in?
Nothing for me. So I haven't nothing. Yeah.
How much does it bring in for your wife?
It was 20,000 a year last year.
And that's in Australian
Australian
dollars.
Yeah.
And do you have any other children?
I do.
How many
One
other
minor.
kids?
Yeah.
And that child lives with you?
Yes.
Okay. So in a typical work week, you'd be working 40 hours per week?
Yeah, that started on January the 8th. The reason why is I've been a full-time student, university student for the last 3.5 years. I graduate on February the 4th this year.
Okay. And then after that, you plan to go full-time at Teamwork WA?
Yeah, for this year, and then I start medicine at the end of the year.
At that point, will you go back down to part-time?
Yes, I will.
Okay. And so when you say you're starting medicine, starting a different job or medical school?
Oh no, I just finished pre-med, and
Okay.
so yeah.
So you'll be in medical school and then working part-time at Teamwork WA?
Correct.
And so are you requesting that your child support be based on you earning $18 per hour and working 25 hours per week?
No, 40 hours a week.
Okay, let me recalculate that.
40 hours a week, and like I said, it's 30 Australian dollars. But
Has there been any family violence in the last 2 years between you and Miss Bollinger?
no.
Do you have any travel costs associated on a regular basis with visiting your daughter?
No, Well, not my daughter, I do have for my son, but I have attempted since 2017 to request every 6 months for my daughter to visit me, because I'm not able to get a visa to come to the United States, and it's been rejected every single time by her mother. So there hasn't been a cost there. It's something that I'm more than happy to pay, and my family more than happy to pay. So if she was to come here next summer holidays, it's also something that I would like to do. But that has not been forthcoming, and now my daughter is of an age where that's probably a difficult choice for her.
Okay. I will pass the witness.
All right, as far as the child support arrears, we're doing a judgment of $288.48 payable at $30 a month until paid in full. Medical support arrears of $1,977.68 to be paid at $60 a month until paid in full. Mother will carry insurance through another source. I'm ordering medical support to be set at $200 a month. I'm ordering child support based on you being able to work 40 hours a week, not 25 hours a week. So child support is ordered an amount of $430 a month. So all the payments have to be paid through the child support office, which again is $430, $200, $30, and $60. That full payment must be paid each and every month. The Attorney General's office will draft an order based on my ruling and my findings today, and that'll be the order of the court. All right? Yes, sir.
So will that be set up through the portal by this office?
I'm not familiar with the portal that you're talking to. I think you're probably the first Australian case I've ever done, so I don't know. I would
Because
imagine
I've got
the
no
answer
other
would
way of
probably be
paying it.
yes.
That's why the arrears happened. So I'm more than happy to obviously participate. I just need it to be set up by the way that it was initially set up through the office.
Are you not able to make additional payments?
No, it doesn't let me pay anything extra into it. As soon as I pay anything extra, it comes off future payments of a smaller amount. So if I do that, for example, if I were to do the arrears, say, next month, it would not allow me to make any payments for a really long time, basically. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the answer to that is. It shouldn't do that. Now, so number one, the place that will determine how much you owe is Texas, not Australia. So
Correct.
sometimes we have people that are paying into another state in the United States, and it goes to a second state. And so there'll be two different balances, but the one that counts is the one where you have your court order. So your order's in Texas. So that's the only one that's correct. So even if Australia has the number differently, or a different number, I should say, the only one that's official would be Texas. Now that answers part of that question. As far as what the arrears are, it's going to be based on Texas. Now, whether or not the portal allows you to pay additional payments, I don't have an answer to that one. I don't know. You may have to call the Australia portal and call them and argue with them, because I don't know how anybody else could probably answer that question. Texas probably cannot answer that question. And you kind of have an added problem that you can't pay Texas directly, because if you did, then you would have more confusion, because then Australia will say you didn't make a payment because you paid one outside of their system. So I don't really have an easy answer on that one. You'll have to talk to Australia. I don't think Texas will control that part of it. You'll have to call Australia and say, hey, I'm making an additional payment now. So the Attorney General's Office, Texas, should be notifying Australia to make it easily to be paid. But if you want to pay like extra payments or something like that, that's something where you'll have to deal with Australia and explain to them the unusualness of that. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. All right, then. Thank y'all for appearing, and that'll conclude our hearing.